JavaScript is a computer language. It makes websites interactive and fun. Imagine clicking a button that changes a picture. That's JavaScript in action. JavaScript is like a set of instructions for your web browser. It tells the browser what to do when you click something or type something. It can change how a website looks and behaves. JavaScript is different from HTML and CSS. HTML builds the structure of a web page, like its bones. CSS styles the web page like its clothes. JavaScript makes the web page dynamic, like its muscles. JavaScript is everywhere on the web. Almost every website you visit uses JavaScript in some way. It's what makes websites feel alive and responsive. Without JavaScript, websites would be very boring. You wouldn't be able to click buttons, play games, or watch videos. JavaScript makes all of that possible. Learning JavaScript opens up a world of possibilities. You can create amazing websites, web applications, and even games. In JavaScript, we use variables to store information. Think of a variable like a container with a label. You can put information in the container and you can find it later using the label. To create a variable, we use the keyword followed by the variable name. For example, creates a variable named and stores the number 25 in it. We can change the value of a variable later on. For example, we could write to update the value of the variable to 30. Variables can store different types of information, called data types. Some common data types in JavaScript are numbers for storing whole numbers or decimals like 10 or 3.14, strings for storing text like hello world, booleans for storing true or false values like true or false. Knowing the data type of a variable is important because it determines what we can do with it. For example, we can do math with numbers, but not with strings. Section 5, Operators, working with information. Operators allow us to perform operations on data. Some common operators in JavaScript are arithmetic operators for doing math, like plus, minus, multiply, and divide. Comparison operators for comparing values like equals, not equals, greater than. Logical operators for combining conditions like and or not. Using operators, we can manipulate and compare data in our JavaScript code. For example, we could use the plus operator to add two numbers together or the greater than operator to check if one number is greater than another. Section 6. Functions, reusable blocks of code. Functions are an essential part of JavaScript and many other programming languages. They allow us to encapsulate code into reusable blocks, making our programs more modular and easier to manage. Functions are like recipes in JavaScript. Just as a recipe provides a set of instructions to create a dish, a function provides a set of instructions to perform a specific task. This analogy helps us understand how functions can simplify complex coding tasks. They contain a set of instructions that we can use over and over again. This reusability is one of the key benefits of functions. Instead of writing the same code multiple times, we can write it once inside a function and call that function whenever needed. Functions make our code more organized and efficient. By breaking down our code into smaller, manageable pieces, we can focus on one task at a time. This modular approach not only makes our code easier to read and understand, but also simplifies debugging and maintenance. To create a function, we use the keyword function followed by the function name and parentheses. Inside the parentheses, we can define parameters, which are variables that the function can use to perform its task. For example, function greet console log hello defines a function named greet that prints hello to the console. This simple function demonstrates the basic structure of a function in JavaScript. We can call a function by using its name followed by parentheses. This tells the program to execute the code inside the function. If the function has parameters, we can pass values to it when we call it. For example, greet would execute the greet function and print hello to the console. This is how we can reuse the same block of code multiple times, making our programs more efficient and easier to manage. Section 7. Loops, repeating actions. Loops allow us to repeat a block of code multiple times. This is useful when we want to do something repeatedly, like printing a message 10 times. One common type of loop is the for loop. It has three parts: initialization, condition, and increment. For example, for var I equals sign 0, I10, I++, console.log I would print the numbers 0 to 9 to the console. Loops are powerful tools for automating repetitive tasks in our JavaScript code. They save us time and effort by avoiding the need to write the same code multiple times. Section 8. Conditionals, making decisions. Conditionals allow our code to make decisions based on certain conditions. They use and statements to control the flow of execution. For example, would check if the variable is greater than or equal to 18. If it is, it would print, "You are an adult." Otherwise, it would print, "You are a minor." Conditionals allow our code to be more dynamic and responsive to different situations. They enable us to create programs that can adapt to different inputs and conditions. Section 9. Putting it all together. A simple example. Let's combine what we've learned to create a simple JavaScript program. This will help us understand how different concepts come together to form a functional piece of code. We'll start by defining a function called greetUser. This function will take a single parameter, which is the name of the user. The function will then use this name to print a greeting message to the console. Here's the code for the function. Function greetUser name console log hello plus name plus. Next, we need to get the user's name. We can do this by using the prompt function, which will display a dialog box asking the user for their name. The user's input will be stored in a variable called username. Here's the code for that. var username =prompt, what is your name? Finally, we call the greetUser function and pass the username variable as an argument. This will print a personalized greeting message to the console. Here's the complete code. Function greetUser name console log hello plus name plus var username =prompt, what is your name? Greetuser username. This simple example demonstrates how we can use variables, functions, and user input to create a basic interactive program in JavaScript. By breaking down the problem into smaller parts, we can see how each piece of code contributes to the overall functionality. Understanding how to combine these elements is crucial for building more complex programs. As you continue to learn and practice, you'll find that these basic building blocks are used in almost every JavaScript program you write. So, take your time to practice and experiment with different variations of this example. Try adding more functionality, such as asking for the user's age or favorite color, and incorporating that into the greeting message. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become with writing and understanding JavaScript code. This foundational knowledge will serve you well as you move on to more advanced topics and projects. Remember, every complex program starts with simple examples like this one. Keep experimenting, keep learning, and soon you'll be creating your own interactive programs with ease. Section 10. Tips for beginners. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your skills, these tips will help you navigate the world of JavaScript coding. Learning JavaScript takes time and practice. It's a journey that requires patience and persistence. Don't be discouraged if you don't understand everything right away. Here are some tips for beginners. Start small. Begin with the basics and gradually move on to more complex concepts. Don't try to learn everything at once. It's easy to get overwhelmed with the vast amount of information available. Focus on one topic at a time. Focus on one concept at a time and build up your knowledge gradually. Practice regularly. Consistency is key in mastering any new skill. The more you code, the better you'll become. Try to set aside a specific time each day dedicated to coding. Try to code every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. This daily practice will help reinforce what you've learned and make coding a habit. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Everyone was a beginner once, and seeking assistance is a crucial part of the learning process. There are many resources available online and in your community. From tutorials and forums to coding bootcamps and local meetups, take advantage of these opportunities. Don't hesitate to ask for help when you need it. Engaging with the coding community can provide valuable insights and support. Remember that everyone starts somewhere. Even the most experienced programmers were once beginners. Your journey is unique, and it's important to embrace it. Be patient with yourself and enjoy the learning process. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and keep pushing forward. Coding can be challenging, but it's also incredibly rewarding. Section 11. Conclusion. JavaScript is an essential language for web development. It brings websites to life, making them interactive and engaging. This essay covered the basics of JavaScript syntax, including variables, data types, operators, functions, loops, and conditionals. By mastering these fundamental concepts, you'll be well on your way to creating your own amazing websites and web applications. Keep practicing, and never stop exploring the vast world of JavaScript.